At the end of this video, you're going to understand the 7 hidden warning signs of CPTSD. Signs that might explain why your relationships, emotions, or even your health feel so out of control. These signs don't just affect your life, they shape it. And ignoring them doesn't make them go away, it makes them worse. If you don't know what these signs are, you can stay stuck in these painful patterns, not understanding why things never seem to get better. That's why I'm making this video, to help you recognize the signs and finally take the steps to really healing. Let's start with the first one, negative self-image. This is when trauma rewires your brain to internalize blame and shame as if it's all your fault, leaving you with a distorted, negative self-perception. It exists on a spectrum, so some people's who don't have CPTSD is very low, but they still might have a little bit of it. And as you get to CPTSD, it's really high. But even then, yours is going to be your own. Negative self-image can make you feel like you're fundamentally flawed, even when others see you differently. I realized I had such a negative self-image when I ran into an old high school friend years after high school, and they said to me that I was one of the nicest people at our entire school, or the nicest person. And that differed so much from my own perception of myself that it was just a crazy experience. And that's when I realized how badly I thought of myself. So you can also, if you think of yourself as super lazy, but people say to you how you're so diligent and committed and such a hard worker, that's another example, which also happened to me. If you think that you're mean, but constantly people around you are saying that how nice you are. If you think that you're stupid, but people are saying how smart you are. If you think you're ugly, but people are saying how pretty you are. These are all examples you can for how you can tell, because you'll see such a difference between how you think and what other people say. If I had had a healthy self-image, then when I was told that I was the nicest person at our whole school, I would say thank you, and I would know that I was a really nice person, and maybe they exaggerated a bit with the compliment, but I would know and be able to acknowledge all of those nice things I did and how I went out of my way for people all in high school, and it wouldn't feel like so far off. And that's how you can know you're healing. If you're at work and someone says, wow, you're really smart, and you can go back and reflect to yourself and recognize your smartness and say, thank you. I appreciate you for acknowledging me for that, but you recognize it in yourself as well. Sign number 2 is chronic digestive issues. Trauma affects the gut-brain connection, leading to chronic digestive issues as your body is trying to process so much stress all the time that it doesn't have the blood and energy to digest, which takes a lot of energy as well. For years, I thought that my digestive problems were random, but as I started to dive into the research and to heal, they started to improve. I had constant digestive issues, bloating, cramping. If you want to learn more about trauma and the body and chronic issues, a great book is The Body Keeps the Score. And also Dr. Gabor Mate talks a lot about this and how CPTSD causes chronic health issues and even things like cancer, autoimmune issues, and digestive issues. Sign number 3 is people pleasing. People pleasing often develops as a survival mechanism to keep peace in unsafe environments, but it comes at the cost of your own needs. And Dr. Gabor Mate also ties in people pleasing with chronic health issues, saying that he most definitely saw in his patients CPTSD along with people pleasing, along with chronic health issues. When I didn't know I had CPTSD, I remember spending 8 hours making cupcakes for friends. And when no one really cared about the cupcakes, it really hit me that I was willing to do way more for people than what was reciprocated and what was even necessary. And I had to reevaluate what my values were and how I wanted to spend my time, what I was willing to give up, how much time I wanted to spend making cupcakes, or if I wanted to just buy the cupcakes. But I didn't realize I had that choice. I thought I had to spend 8 hours making these perfect, amazing vegan cupcakes that were fluffy, because I thought that was the work I had to put in for friendships. For what reason? There was none. It was just completely from a place of people pleasing to survive, to have friends, which really they would have loved me without any cupcakes at all. I also people pleased in friendships and just gave so much to certain friends, helped them so much, and never really was helped myself. And I take full responsibility for that because I largely didn't show them what I needed help with or give them any opportunity to help me. I was just operating in people pleasing at an extreme level of willingness to help people, often at the sacrifice of myself because I never was considering myself. Sign number 4 is risky behaviors. I went on dates with people I didn't know very well. I didn't know how to screen them. I didn't know how to make myself safe and feel comfortable setting boundaries that kept me safe. I remember a date who I didn't feel comfortable with walked me home and was insisting on walking me home, and I said I was fine, and not knowing him too well, didn't want him to know where I lived, and yet I let him walk me home. Felt super uncomfortable about it. I didn't know how to prioritize my safety and not taking on risk. If I felt like I couldn't set a boundary with them, then I would give in to them and do whatever the risky thing was. Or if I felt I had to people please someone and go to some certain party at some certain place where I didn't really feel comfortable, I would. As we heal, we become comfortable, and it's natural to keep ourselves safe and not put ourselves at risk. Sign number 5 is substance abuse can numb the pain of trauma temporarily, but often it deepens the cycle of shame and dysregulation. When I started drinking as a young person, more was more. When other people were okay with just a few drinks, I wanted more drinks and really had a strong desire to drink more. I live in Seattle where weed is legal, and I just do not have the desire to be in a different state than sober. And I've not drinking alcohol in about 4 years, 3.5, and just do not want to be not sober. I just enjoy the sober experience, and as I think back, it's just crazy how much I disliked being sober before and just wanted more alcohol, and I wasn't like a typical alcoholic. I was socially acceptable, but it's the way I was feeling inside, the suffering I was going through inside about substances. Sign number 6 is codependency. Codependency develops as a way to find safety and validation in relationships, often at the expense of our true self. It's whenever you talk to someone, it's meshing into who they want to be versus being able to just stand in yourself and who you are. I got into a narcissistic relationship where I lost myself completely. I didn't value having boundaries or having an identity for myself. It was all about keeping the relationship alive, apologizing even when it wasn't my fault. And I thought I was a confident person, didn't know about my trauma or CPTSD at that point. And all of a sudden I was in a trauma bond and couldn't get out no matter what I tried. And that became one of the scariest times of my life, even to this day. The idea of how am I the captain of all my sports teams, a leader in every volunteer organization I'm in, and yet I'm in a trauma bond with someone who's controlling my mind did not make sense to me. But it was because my CPTSD, I was completely lost. Sign number 7 is identity confusion. Trauma disconnects us from our identity of ourself, making it hard to know who you are, know what you want, and figure out what your instincts are telling you is right for you. I remember being in college when it was time to choose a major, and I had no idea what to pick. No idea. I didn't have a top 5. I just had no idea what to pick. And my first job out of college was a disaster. It was such the wrong job for me. And I was so hard working 70 hours a week. So I did great and was a high performer. But my friends, I remember saying to me, of course that job's not for you. And being completely confused at how my friends knew what was right and wrong for me, but I didn't at all. And knew I had to start piecing this together. When we don't know our identity, we make decisions without purpose or direction. Looking back, these signs were all there, but I didn't recognize them for what they were. Realizing I had CPTSD wasn't just about naming my pain, it was about beginning to heal, so I was no longer hitting after a roadblock in my life so that I could live a future where not everyone around me was telling me that I don't know myself. I didn't want that future anymore. Healing is messy, especially from something that's so all-encompassing like CPTSD, but it's possible. For me, it was and is about just putting one foot in front of the other. If you see yourself in any of these signs, you're not alone. There's tons of us in the world with CPTSD, and you're not broken. Healing is possible. Please like and subscribe for more, and please let me know in the comments what was a moment where you were like, this is just not right, you felt really confused, and later realized that was a PTSD sign. I'd love to hear your story. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day.